Okay, topic for today, how to sing better for guys. Like, what is the roadmap?
Well, let me start with the foundation. So every guy right now who's a beginner, who's wanting to learn to sing, they need to think of 3 things first. Because if you can do these 3 things, and you can do them decently, I guess, is that what decently?
Decently is
We're gonna
a
make
word.
that
Today?
Today?
It probably is, but...
It's a word, today. Making it up. That's what you do when you're, singers, creatives. You can make up words, right?
Yeah, you can get away with it.
Yeah, if you can do that decently, then you could actually make hit records in today's music industry.
Wow, okay.
So my first thing for any beginner would be, let's get these 3 things down. That is breathing, understanding your power source, developing pitch accuracy, which is learning to control your vocal cords with your mind. We're going to get into all these. And then finally, it is your tone. So in your tone, the way that your voice sounds, the way that my speaking voice sounds, is just dependent on the space or the lack of space that I allow in my throat and in my mouth. So I could easily cut the space and I could sound like this. And if I was in a habit, I might think this was my speaking voice, kind of like Mike Tyson. You ever heard Mike Tyson speak?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas if he could just learn to relax and release, his voice would resonate differently if that's what he's going after.
Right.
So, okay, so let me just give a couple quick exercises for each one. There's so much that we could go into, and people know where to learn more if they want to dive deeper with me and with us.
Right.
The first one would be breathing, and a quick exercise is just learning to control your exhale.
Yeah.
So learning to release a steady stream of airflow. So we would breathe in and try to release on a TS, keeping the volume consistent and somewhat quiet. Great, and try to hold that at home for 20, 30 seconds. Challenge yourself. Can you do 50, 60 seconds? And then if you go to sing afterwards, you might find that it's much more stable. Let's talk about pitch. Well, the way that you're going to learn pitch, and I can't give many exercises here, that's all in the course, and it really comes down to doing melodies and scales in a certain progression with certain exercises that isolate just the variable of pitch, while also getting visual feedback on your pitch in relation to perfect pitch.
Right.
If you do those things...
Yeah. I just have to say really quick. Now, the technology you're talking about, that is not something that is just out there you can just find. Now, that is specifically
when you couple
in
it
your course
with the exercises in the course, when you couple those 2 things together for pitch, I mean, I have seen people learn pitch so fast you wouldn't even believe. Things that took me years and years and years, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Like, I wish I had this.
I know.
Dang it.
Right.
Dang it. But anyway, this is not a sales pitch. Join whatever you want. But if people want to try to figure this out on their own too, that's fine.
Yeah.
But the principle is there, okay? Visual feedback in relation to perfect pitch, certain scales and melodies in a certain progression, going through different scales, with exercises that isolate only the variable of pitch, meaning you're not having to worry about your airflow, you're not having to worry about your tone, all the other nuances to the voice that can overwhelm the brain.
Yeah, it's focusing on one thing at a time. Right?
Absolutely. The third thing is your tone, and the way that you improve your tone is by changing the space in the throat and the mouth. So the first thing that I would tell guys is, you got to release tension, man, because guys, me included, especially at the beginning of my journey.
It's like all up here.
Yeah, when I was a computer programmer, video games all day long, I mean, I was tense. I was clenched up, okay? So I would tell guys 2 exercises they can do right now to start releasing it would be releasing jaw tension, particularly the mandible. So do an NG by placing the back of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. All the air is flowing through the nose, nothing through the mouth. It'll sound like this.
Yeah, that's good.
And then they need to open and close the mouth while they do it.
Okay.
It's really awkward. I'm just like staring into your eyes while I do this.
Yeah, that's great.
And go up and down the range. And the idea is that you do not want to feel a shift in resonance. You want to feel it buzzing here. You don't want to feel a sensation of the tone slip back, where it slips back in the throat. So you want to keep the resonance. And you're disassociating a tense jaw with vocalizing. The other thing that you can do is release tongue tension. In particular, a lot of guys deal with an overactive hyoglossus muscle, which retracts the tongue back. That's horrible. That will kill a vocal tone.
Right.
And also just the voice in general. So what you want to do is you want to basically push it out, because there's an antagonistic pair there. And when you activate the muscle that pushes the tongue out, you will instantly release the hyoglossus muscle that retracts. And so I would vocalize while moving my tongue in a circle, humming. And you're going to do that until you release a lot of tongue tension.
This is really great because, you know, and we've talked about this before, nothing good comes free. I think it's really great that you're kind of just showcasing a little bit of what they could expect within the course. I know that's not why we're here, is to just like sell on the course, but those things that you just showed, I know they work because I've seen it work for some of the one-on-one clients and just hundreds of people that have joined.
Well, these are very basic exercises,
and these
to be
are
honest.
basic, but there's so much more. And
there's so many in-depth, like utilizing technology with it, all these things that we can do, right? But these can get any guy started now, and
kind of give a jump start.
Even for their speaking voice, you know, before they have to speak. Try to feel it all up here. And when they can just do that multiple times, you know, the voice can really open up and release more. And that's just 2 quick little exercises, but I think that can help. So if guys can focus on these 3 things and then finally learn to connect emotionally. That so many guys that we work with a lot of successful entrepreneurs. And they got a hard time. They're up in their logical side.
It gets so technical.
Yeah, they made bank, okay? And they did it because they were analytical.
They didn't by being emotional.
They didn't do it being emotional, okay? They're very rational people. And we got to be like, you got to get a little more emotional. No one's going to want to buy tickets to your show if you can't connect emotionally at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, if a guy's going from like not being able to sing, if they can do those 3 things, breathing, learn pitch, learn tone, think like a car. Power source, breathing, steering wheel, get you to where you want to go melodically, would be your pitch.
That's great.
And then your tone is the car body style, a Toyota to a Lamborghini. And we want to move you into the Lamborghini style tone, okay? And I love Toyota, actually. We drive a Toyota, so, but you know what I mean. I freaking love Toyota. I'm not a car guy, so I freaking love that car. That thing's invincible. Take that everywhere, just go road trip everywhere. It like doesn't break ever. I love it. There's nothing worse than having to go take your car in. I'm just like, such a waste of time.
So much time consumed.
I know. My ideal would be just sell the car and just fly, just bounce, just. You know how I feel about that. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But yeah, so.
That's great. So it really comes down to. I'm like 3 things. It really comes down to 3 things. I think that's a really good way to explain it.
Breathing, pitch, tone, and then, not to cut you off there, but just so we can wrap this up.
That's great.
Learn to emotionally connect. I call it the law of emotional transference. I won't get into it here, but people know where to dive deeper if they would like to. And if a guy can do those 4 things, then he'll have what I call a minimum viable voice. And that can happen very quickly. I mean, people have learned to have that in 3 months, where now they're recording songs. And in today's music industry, all you need is a minimum viable voice to find success. You don't have to be Pavarotti anymore. So it's a cool time to be in music. And
great time.
So I tell any guy.
Never been better.